Nathan here, helping you become a better jungler. For today's episode, we have a very, very experienced jungler for you guys, Kirei. He's been in the competitive pro scene for almost 10 years now, spanning across North America, Europe as a player, coach, playing against and coaching some of the best players in the game. And looking at his OPGG here, he's been Challenger literally every season since Season 3. So we're talking about, 10 plus years of playing League of Legends with jungle experience. He's just come back from North America with a stint on the 100 Thieves Academy team. And as we see, he is pretty much already smurfing across 200 games, 65% win rate, with insane win rates on all these champs, literally just smurfing on the European ladder. And 70% win rate currently on Nidalee, which we're going to be covering today. He's Nidalee. We're going to be going a little bit into Nidalee here, but I'd say this video is more about what really good high-tempo jungling looks like, thinking about how to read the map. Kirei shares some of his concepts, thinking about how to win games in the mid-game. I'm going to do lots of timestamps for you here if you want to skip through the video. It's going to be a bit long, but I do recommend sitting through the whole thing and catching Kirei's wisdom of his 10-plus years of Challenger, top of Challenger experience. That's important to note, not... bottom of a challenger, top of a challenger is a big gap as well in terms of skill. Let's get straight into it. All right, Kirei, Nidalee. Where I want to start, I always like to start my videos thinking like big picture about the champion. We talked a little bit just before about, you've actually coached some Nidalee players to Challenger on EU West. Is that right?
Yeah.
What do you think are some big misconceptions around Nidalee? How do people view the champion you've sort of found in your coachings, your experience, where people, you sort of hear them talk about the champ or things you see in their gameplay, and you're like, okay, this is not playing Nidalee well. What would you say about that?
I would say that Nidalee players usually think they always have to invade, like level 3, level 4, which is the case only if it allows it, because it just depends on the team, right? Because in some games you'll have no prior lanes and it'll be difficult to invade. Then your priority becomes ganking laners in order to invade, if it makes sense. Because some games you want to gank in order to invade, so they get priority. And some games they have priority by default, so then you can just invade. So it's about creating opportunities to invade, and I think as Nidalee that is super important to understand when you should invade and when you shouldn't invade, and how to create it as well.
So you're saying that you find that people just try and force invades without thinking about lanes first? Is that what you sort of mean by that?
Yeah, basically, like not looking at priority, knowing before the game, okay, they don't have to push, so they might need help before I invade. And small things like that actually make a huge difference.
And what would you say, so I mean, now sort of thinking about big picture about Nidalee, like champion identity, what's like the strengths of Nidalee? I mean, I guess it's invading. What's a really great Nidalee game? Is it got to do with the champions? Do you like to make the gameplay like really chaotic? Do you want to do lots of things early game? Do you want to just sit there and just farm your camps and then get strong? How do you think about what a great Nidalee game looks like?
So I think if you want to become a really good Nidalee, and how it looks like is that on this champ especially, it's such a high tempo champion, which means that if you're actually not dying in a game and not trading stupidly 1-for-1, you can 1v9 a game, literally. So by what I mean with that is that, so imagine Nidalee, right? You are clearing super fast, you have actually pretty good ganks if you have some setup, you'll be able to get kills easily, your level 1 is super strong, which allows you to late invade, which allows you to spear people and chunk them and win the game literally at level 1, and I think especially if you have a mastery of that as Nidalee, I think the games become so much easier. And especially on objectives, right? If you know how to play objectives and how to be first on the map, which means that you basically set up the wards before they arrive and have no vision, and if they walk in and they really want to contest it, and you're there with Nidalee, you can just throw spears, chunk them, and in any elo, if they're going to contest for a third rig, they will come and they will just get poked and they will still fight you, and they're going to lose the game. So I think those are the most important things as Nidalee, basically.
All right. So let's get into the game now. I just sort of mentioned as well, so who are some of the players you said? You mentioned there's a couple of LEC players in this game.
I believe that I'm playing as Shio, the BDS jungler. They finished second, I believe. Also, I need to look at low pros with those other guys. I have no idea, but I'm telling you, like, some of them are pro players as well, but I just don't know who they are.
Isn't this Adam?
Adam? Let me check. Endo. I'm searching on low pros Endo, but I cannot find it at the moment.
Maybe not.
I mean, I can tell there's some hidden pro players here in this game, but I just don't know
Yeah.
which ones, because some are
Yeah.
Smurfs. I didn't really look into it. I just know enemy journals like Shio.
So we're
like a
playing,
challenger game.
yep, top of EU West. Your account here is 1200 LP. All right, so I want you to sort of just walk me through your thought process just here. Like, you're in this game. What are you thinking here in the early game, or the early stages?
So if you want to break down early game really simply, it's like you have to recognize basically from the draft what is each team's win condition, right? And what is mine, what is theirs. So the most important thing that you identify is, okay, what is the enemy pathing going to be? So if you want to know what Maokai's pathing is going to be, you'll have to look at which lanes are volatile. So if you have to break it down, you look at top, mid, bot. So looking at top lane, I have, I believe, Sign against Yone. Both top lanes have teleport, it's a tank, so I don't really need too much resources on top lane, so he's chilling. So mid and bot looks a lot more aggressive, as there's a melee matchup and a range matchup bot lane, right? So I know this game, all the attention is going to be on mid bot from both jungles, right? So especially at level 1, you can really think, okay, so both junglers want to play bot side, because I have Renekton, I have Jinx Ashe, it's just really volatile, right? So when you're playing a Nidalee against most melee champions, and you have more range on the bot lane, as you can see, I have an Ashe plus Jinx against Lucian Emilio, which means you're strong on level 1, right? So every level 1, you have to consider, okay, are we strong on level 1? Yes. What's enemy jungle going to do? And you can make a plan around it to basically screw the enemy jungler up. So this game, for example, I knew that I'm strong on level 1, and I can late invade enemy bot side, and I can split the map. For the people that don't know what split the map is, by basically forcing the enemy jungler to be staying in the top side, while I am in the bot side. Which means that top lane's chilling, and my bot lane can keep playing aggressive while I'm on their side, and that allows them to not get ganked, and that's beneficial for this game especially. So, as you can see, I put the ward down level 1, knowing that I want to go 5-man enemy bot lane, because I know that our level 1 is stronger. So by us invading, that gives Maokai one option. Can you pause? So Maokai is forced to start at top side here, and he either starts on my top side or he starts to his own top side and then invades me. That ward allows me to see if he invades level 1 or if he goes for late invade. And the thing with Nidalee against Maokai is that I stomp him 1v1, and I should have mid priority as well, which means that he cannot take any camps. So just by level 1 plan, I'm actually able to get 3 quadrants of the map, and I'm playing around win condition, and I'm making it impossible for Maokai to gank my win condition. So let's just play and see what happens.
Alright, so splitting the map's good here. Okay, I want to backtrack a couple of really sort of newbie questions here. So with, I mean, obviously you have a lot of knowledge, Kirei. You know, you've been playing, you've been challenging for like 10 years. It's sort of hard for a lot of players to like grasp all this knowledge here, right? So you said that your bot lane is strong level 1, and that's purely because, I mean, so Nidalee, you value Nidalee invades a lot, and that's because Nidalee in general is just a really strong level 1 champ because she has, you know, insane range with spears. Is that sort of the thinking? So Nidalee's always strong level 1, and then you've also got Ashe. Is that the one you're thinking about as well? Because she has that, her W?
Yeah, basically like with Jinx, with little tempo against the first strike, so level 1 he's much stronger.
Yeah.
For some reason, our bot lane's double heal, they had some miscommunication there. That is not the right summoners. But yeah, but anyway, like I have heal blades on Ashe, so no matter what level 1, our champ is stronger. We can legit right click on the enemy, the first target, and they're gonna lose. And there's not much that they can do about it. And since a melee champion, what you wanna do is just space him, making sure that he can't alt attack you. Otherwise, you're not making use of your range. So you wanna make sure that you basically use your range, play slow, and just push them out. Let's say they happen to start bot side and low elo, very likely they will not even see this invade coming, and they're just gonna die at level 1. And you're gonna win a game because the enemy's gonna mental boom, and congratulations, you got some LP there.
The so the next thing here is so basically the principle you're following here is that you guys are so much stronger. You want to split the map, and there's no way this goes wrong because again your champions are so much stronger. That's sort of like the really simply put.
Yes.
The next thing here I want to ask in terms of team compositions with Nidalee. What's like a great Nidalee game? Obviously, you got a Renekton here. People sometimes pick the Renekton for the Nidalee and stuff like that. It's more of a high elo thing. What would you say is like a really good Nidalee game? Like, what's like, I got to pick Nidalee.
So very often, ideally, you would love to have some CC. So champs like Renekton, Varus, whether it's like Nautilus, those champs that are just CCing is really good. That allows you to land your spear for sure. And ideally, a hyper carry. Because Nidalee E gives your AD carry 60% attack speed, which is actually a lot of gold value, especially if you have hyper carry. So champs like Jinx, even Aphelios, like not bad. Just anything that hits. For example, Ezreal has lower value with Nidalee. It is high in value in terms of like poking and having range, but pure DPS front to back is not as good. So ideally, hyper carry, support CC, and solo laners with some utility. That's the ideal draft for Nidalee.
Great. And the other thing I want to mention as well, Kirei, so I coach like a lot of players under gold and just gold in general. Enemy junglers start bots, I've found like 95% of the game because they get the bot leash, right? So
yeah, I know.
So would that change your thought process when invading, or is that just even more of an example of like if you're smurfing in gold and below, you'll just be invading bot like as much as you can with Nidalee?
That's even better. I'll win the game level 1 instantly.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is we're going to... Okay, so one thing you have to do as well. If you late invade, there's like two options. Either you can go 5-man, or you can go to 123 with like 4 people, and let your top laner go top. Those are the two options that you have. So this game, the reason why I did 5-man is because I knew that if I do this, and enemy team is smart, like, because these guys are like Challenger, like, they should be the best players, right? So they should know...
Yeah.
Yes, they're expecting it. So I expect them to know that they know that I'm going to invade. So I expect the Maokai to invade my topside level 1, and I put a water down there already to see him coming. So let's say for some reason he goes to my topside right now. I have the information, so I can then either stop him there and fuck him up, or I can take my botside camps and run to my topside camps. And kill him as well.
So let's say if you weren't playing in Challenger, Kirei, would you still do this ward, or do you think that ward's still good in gold?
I think that ward is still good, even in gold. The reason why is because what's going to happen in gold is that they might realize, oh, he late invaded me, and they will go after the top side to my top side. So that ward will see me coming. I'll see them coming basically. So level 2, what I can then do is like, if I see them coming, I just cross through mid lane and kill him. But without that ward, I don't have that information. He might be going bot side. So if I don't see him on the ward, basically on top side, that means that he's going bot side. So while I'm farming, I'm just going to pick my bot. Hey, careful. And as you can see, we see the Maokai there.
Yeah, it gives so much information to your team.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your thought process now? You just want to start the red buff?
Yeah. So basically, I had a choice of like trying to run to my top side and push them out. However, like I said, this game, I really want to be splitting the map and play towards the bot side. I mean, my Jinx is a bit AFK, so I wrote hello.
See, guys,
yeah.
it even happens in high, like people are AFK on YouTube, alt-tabbing, changing their Spotify playlist.
Yes, don't do that. Like, remove any distraction when you're playing League. That's super important. So right here, that ward that I basically put made me know that he's our top set, right? So look at my sign.
That's insane, dude. This is great. So this is people would be like, Kirei, this is unfair. My sign would never do this. My top laners would never do this.
You could ping your sign to do this if you want to, you know? It's like a matter of knowledge. The more games you're able to watch and look at pro players, the more you know, like, oh, these are options actually that I've never thought about. Because especially on the climb, just having more option and using your pings are going to help you to climb like really far. So as you can see, Maokai is level 1 and he just is getting completely, like, he's completely out of the game.
So your principle here that you're following is that, okay, you read Raptors really quick. You know that your son did a really good job of pushing him off the camps. He's level 1. He's useless. I just want to get into his face and keep pressure in. Is that your mindset? Or going for Krugs for level 3 and, you know, you said you want to stay bonus with the map. Why take this decision over going for the Krugs and get level 3?
And that's a good question. The main reason why is because Maokai is level 1, I'm level 2, so I'm so much stronger, and my bot lane should be winning by default. So if I just make sure that I mark the Maokai, which means I find him, that should mean that my bot lane's winning, that should mean my mid lane's winning, and I'm winning. So that leaves Maokai. So basically the bot lane is slowly bleeding out, and I can take top side camps as well. So here's the thing. Can you pause for a bit? So because I basically had my Sion screw over the Maokai in top side, I know as well right now before I go for an invade, like before you go for an invade or before you go river, make sure you look at how the lanes are. Make sure that you look at how the lanes are before you go, because imagine another game where, let's say, Maokai is level 2, okay, and decide to fight him. Whichever lane is moving first, that will usually swing the jungle matchup. And the main reason why is because if enemy lane starts moving first, and you keep hitting the enemy jungle and you're trading, you'll have to start running at some point. And the moment you start running, you're going to lose the trade, and you don't really want that. So make sure that you have lane prior before invading / going in river. In this case, I'm playing Nidalee, and I have mid priority. So even if your top lane starts moving, I can always run to the lane that is priority, which is my mid lane. So even if top lane collapses to me, I'll be fine, and he'll be losing CS. So that's why I'm going for this invade with this thought process.
So if Yasuo was here, you're saying Kirei, you would not be going for this?
No. I probably wouldn't because I would get collapsed on and I would have to run through base.
Yeah. So then you'll go just do Krugs in that situation if you had no mid priority.
Yes, but specifically this case, Maokai is level 1, and I don't consider him champion. I can legit hit him in his face and run away, and inner lanes are moving. I'll be okay.
This is
and I can
probably
actually
really
play time.
rare circumstance, isn't it? Because like
Yes.
Maokai's literally a minion right now.
Yes, because what's going to happen is that, let's say, even if they mid and top lane push, okay, what I can do is literally make them come to me. My lanes are going to do their best to push, and then after that, they're going to match the enemy laner, and enemy Maokai is still level 1. So one thing here you have to pay attention to is that I'm really holding my spear a lot, you see?
Yeah.
So one thing that's super important in Nidalee is that you should think of your spears as like a one-shot. The moment you hit your spear, you can assume that you hit the enemy. You miss your spear, you're a potato. So it's so important that you value patience.
So the thing that you like to do is that you will auto attack them. With red buff is awesome as well, right? Because you're slowing them a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to hold your spear and make sure they're trying to juke it and like dodge it, and then to get the guarantee spear. So this is, I guess, this is sort of like the principle of you're really thinking about how to hit spears with Nidalee.
Mm-hmm. Can I go back as well? So there's like a small thing that I watched my own replay a bit, and I figured out I'll go a bit more back. So the moment I saw him. So here's the thing, I could have paused, the moment he's in a choke point, so right now, okay? So the one thing that's super important is that once you hold your spear, you'll see a certain pattern from the player. So every player clicks different, but a lot of players just click left, right, left, right. And this is a challenger player that's as well clicking left, right, left, right. So in this position though, the moment he's in his choke, I could actually throw my spear earlier, but as you can see, I'm a bit insecure, so I held it. But like, even though I feel like I'm not like that insane at hitting spears, it's just that this is just decision making. Like, look at his movement as well. Like left, right, left, right. Just pay attention.
Right.
Left, right. Like, okay. At some point he's gonna walk right. Like, dude, this guy was top 2 LEC, and every player has a certain habit, right? And I can guarantee you, in low elo, the longer you wait, the more you'll see the habits, and it'll be easy to land a spear. This is nothing like crazy or something. I can tell you that an iron player can do the same. I'm not even capping. So it's just about knowledge and how to utilize your abilities.
Alright, so you get pretty close there, almost die, and then you base, because I guess you have no health.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that's super
now?
important, the moment you're in base, right, you should think, okay, what does the enemy Maokai see? So if you pause the game for a bit, so Maokai knew he lost all his bot side camps. Maokai knows that he has nothing to do there. I mean, he could go for cheese gank, but he's still level 1, I believe. So for sure, I knew that he was going to go topside, right? So I know as well that I started the enemy bot side, which means that his raptors will be spawning around 4:15. So the moment I clear my full bot side, this is going to take approximately 1 minute. Then I can invade his raptors again. And here's the thing. Maokai does not know where I am. So if he decides to invade my top side, it will be a flip. Because imagine he sees me, that guy will die, right? So I'm as well evaluating his perspective. And that's why I'm going to bot side here, knowing that there's very low probability of him invading my top side. And if he does, I can always run from the bot side to my top side.
Okay, so I guess there's a lot of information with this deploy on the map. You're thinking about Maokai's position. You're already thinking about the Raptors already. You know, that's still ages away. I mean, a lot of players really struggle to think that far ahead. Obviously, you know, you're obviously really experienced. And because I'll see a lot of players as well just be like, oh, like I like red buff. Red buff is cool. I go to my red buff, you know. But again, you're saying you're not going there because you're thinking about the Raptors, and you know that Maokai, if he invades that's a coin flip on his end.
Yes. And by me doing this pathing as well, this allows me once again to split the map and force the Maokai to play topside, which is very good for my bot lane matchup.
Yeah. Because Maokai can't do anything with a silent top, so that's again...
Yeah, there's no business. Even if he kills him, I couldn't care less. He's gonna do his job, and that's frontlining. So, okay, now let's just keep playing and see.
So, looking bot.
Yeah, it's really important your camera movement as well. Like, as you're taking camp, you see, I'm like paying attention to the ball and how it's going, and I'm dragging the camp towards bot side. Every single second matters.
I also want people to note as well, looking at your pings here, Kirei, you're constantly pinging like on the way, and like what you want to be doing and your intention You think that's really important for SoloQ?
So here's the thing: the lower elo it is, the worse it is to ping on the way. Because here's the thing: imagine I'm gonna ping on the way and bot lane. Okay, let's say I'm really close. What's gonna happen is that my bot lane is instantly gonna start walking up, and they're gonna make it really obvious that I'm ganking. So I will ping on the way as I am on my blue buff, yes. But the moment I'm closer, I actually will not ping anything. The main reason why is because I don't want to make it too obvious. If anything, I'm actually pinging them back. That's what I usually do, because
yeah,
I want
'cause you
the
don't give away
enemy.
the gank.
Yes, I want the enemy to walk in as deep as possible, especially if I'm behind them. So what I usually do is that if I'm behind them, I will go for the gank, but they're going for a last hit. So the lower elo they are, the lower it. So the longer it takes them for them to realize I'm behind them, because So all of you have probably played laner once, and the moment you focus on CS during that time, you're not looking at minimap. And the lower elo it is, the longer it takes for the player to recognize, oh shit, that guy's behind me. So let's say in silver, okay, it might maybe take 2 seconds. In platinum, maybe 1 health, and then die maybe like 1 second, and change like 0.5. So that's the ideal timing you would love to gank, which is when you go for a minion. That's the first condition. And when you go for a minion, that's when you can ping on the way. So here's the thing, boss. So the moment I show bot lane, Maokai knows, okay, I'm bot lane. So the first thing that Maokai is gonna do is probably invade my top side. No, my top side's still up, right? So, but imagine I didn't show, okay? Very likely he would never invade my top side. So once again, I'm thinking from what does the Maokai see? He sees that I show bot. He knows that my top side's still up. So very likely he's gonna invade my top side here. So if you want to get really super high elo, it's really important that you know what the enemy sees.
And these Krugs are up, obviously, because obviously Maokai's never been bot side here for these camps.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said it, look, straight there. The Ash arrows, these guys got some good Ash arrows, by the way. Maokai's constantly getting tracked, even at the Wolves as well. They will get to see that. Okay.
So here's I have 2 camps up, so instead of me taking his Raptors, I'm making sure that I'm gonna go to him, and especially in mid lane's volatile, it's perfect for me to gank. So as you can see again, I'm holding my spear. And I'm trying to like gap close as much. So can I pause for a bit? So here's the thing, especially if you're next to, let's say, a bit far away, okay? If you're gonna hold your spear, I mean here I thought it's wind wall, but let's say it's a champ that doesn't have wind wall, okay? The moment you hold your spear, that's gonna make sure that your Renekton can get closer and closer, because a lot of players are gonna move left and right, and that makes your laner be able to move closer and be able to reach him at some point. So by you holding your spear as well, that allows him to gap close and reach him. So that's something you can keep in mind as well if your teammates are chasing him. Don't look at the spears, it's flying, but like I said, it's just about the theory. And there we have found Mr. Maokai. So usually around 420 the camp starts spawning. That's just the general consensus.
So in terms of your decision making back there, even though the Raptors were up, you still would want to go and fight Maokai in the top side here because you want to keep matching him. Is that the idea?
Yes, but that's as well because I knew I can kill him. Because basically the mid lane was super low, so that's one. With the mid lane super low, there was a gank opportunity as well. I was forcing him out, and as Maokai is in my journal, he should not be able to go anywhere. So like, I mean, if you can get a free kill, why would you not take a free kill?
Yeah, I guess it's like the perfect storm of events, right? So it's like you can do both. I can gank mid and I can invade him on top camps.
Yeah.
Alright, so, okay, good question for here, Kirei. So you have lots of gold in your inventory. I always tell my clients to make sure you're looking at your gold amounts, for basing. So why not reset here? Why take these Raptors?
Because this is the best opportunity for me to take Raptors, and as I take Raptors, there's not too many camps of mine up, so I know very likely in this case that his top side is up, and is going to go to the top side. So if you have the choice between taking enemy camps and then basing, that would be the best. So I even timed the reps, as you can see, and as I take this crap, I'm fairly certain I'm going to base and not going to take more camps. I really hope I'm basing right here, please. Okay, I'm not. Oh, okay, I remember why. Okay, so here's the thing. Can I pause? So, pause when you see the tap icon. When you see the enemy red buff spawning. The reason why I didn't base.
So it's spawning right now. 1 minute right now.
Yeah, okay, let's say like 1 minute, right? So the reason why I didn't base here is because my base time is based around what I'm playing for. So I know that any red buff is spawning in 1 minute. So what I'm gonna do is take my bottle camps, and as I take 2 camps, I'll probably have 30 seconds to come from base to his red buff. So I'll have as much items as possible, and then I plant in his red buff. So that's why I'm staying here for 2 more camps, knowing that I'm gonna invade him. So imagine there's no red buff, okay? What I would have probably done is just base almost instantly, and then look for like opportunities for like drakes or lane kills. But that was my plan base to snowball my lead, which is invading his red buff.
So right now, you already have the plan. 1 minute ahead, Kirei's thinking, I'm going to invade the red buff. And I'm going to clear these camps, reset, and go straight back bot for that.
Yes. And none of my lanes are that volatile at the moment, so I can do that. But imagine this lane where there's like Camille against Fiora, there's like Renekton against Yasuo, and then Bolin's volatile as well. Then I would have probably based earlier, because when there's 3 volatile lanes, there will be more opportunities. And by me doing this, I'll have like a really bad base. But I know at the moment, people came from base, they're healthy, so I can do this.
Yeah. So again, this is just going to the champ identity of Nidalee, of like high tempo, and why this champ's, you know, it's sort of known to be pretty on the more harder side of the jungle, is that you're always going to be thinking about, I mean, you're constantly thinking about 1 minute ahead. Like, that's very hard for most players. You know, that's like a skill to develop, right?
No, definitely.
But this is the strength. Nidalee can abuse this fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nidalee definitely excels at that. But like, you don't have to do these things, because this is like kind of like rank 1 gameplay. Like, just to get to Challenger, you don't have to do all of these things. Like, other things that are like probably more important, because this is like the really advanced stuff.
Yeah. All right, so my next question here is that, so most people, Kirei, come out of base and they're going bot, they're going this way. Why are you running through lane here? What's going on? What do you see bot?
So one thing that I always do, make a habit of, and you guys can do the same, is that can go when I'm in base. And I highly recommend for like everyone to do. So the moment I'm in base, usually I press tab. So I'm identifying, okay, which of my laners are kind of doing well, which of my laners are kind of doing bad. So I always identify what is my win condition. So once I've identified my win condition, I basically need to make sure I play around that. And my Jinx is getting a little bit gapped here, so I need to help him so he doesn't get dove. If I don't go ball in here, what's going to happen is that they're going to take playthings, they might dive my Jinx, and I'm here to cover them instead of the red buff. So you kind of have to like be flexible still. Even though my plan was to invade, if I see my bull is 1 HP, I want to make sure I cover them before I do so.
And when you're protecting dives, it's always better to be going behind them, like through the lane and through this bush, is that right?
Yes, because if they're, let's say, a deep ward, they might see you. So going through lane is usually the best. So they don't see you.
Some people might go this direction to defend the dive. Is that a defend the dive?
No. You have to be behind the tower. Like,
yeah.
that is aggressive diving, you know?
And you read the play really well there. I mean, they did exactly that. They tried to dive, and you're right there. Perfect timing.
Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe Maokai could be there as well, but he wasn't. Now the red buff is mine anyway. So like, just pay one attention. Have you guys noticed that I'm like really patient with my spears, but I'm missing most of them because I'm actually a bit boosted, I guess. But the theory gets like, if you just understand how the champ works, like, it's all good, you know? Yeah, enemy is so mad there, but holy shit.
So patience with spears.
Yes. And I didn't even play the game that much past. I mean, last 2 weeks I played a bit more, but before that I actually took a break. So mechanics are a bit rusty, but I still got 66% win rate to Challenger. Just because of like macro, and it's not even like my arms. Like, as you can see, I'm actually missing a lot of spears. Like, even this one, you see, I'm actually missing it. It looks crazy, no? I'm
boosted spear, Kirei.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I'm boosted. But look, even that spear, it's flying, you see, but I'm still killing them. Like, how? Yeah. It's just decision making. So the people that actually were like in gold, that climbed to master, I don't think necessarily they became better individually. They just had better decision making. Like the people that I coach, people that watch my videos, it's just decision making mostly.
So just in terms of doing damage with Nidalee, right? The real basics. I've seen most of the time you do E first and then Q. But this time you're doing Q and then E. What's the thought process?
If E and Q there, I would not be in range for the Q. I have to Q there first because if I E here, I will not hit the Q. That's why I EQ. No, that's why QE, I believe. Sorry.
Yeah, you Q.
Imagine that E and then Q, I'll be out of range. So you only do this in general if enemies out of range. But let's say they're running into you, then usually I EQ. But that guy was running away from me.
So EQ is the general combo for max damage with Nidalee.
Yes, because Q is an execute. Here I should have just went to the Raptors and just peace out. Or not hit the Lucian there. Because you always want to give the kill to the support. Try to never give the kill to the animated carry. Or any mid laner or jungler. Just give to the support.
Alright, so I assume you're going to be tabbing, and you're tabbing and you're thinking about win conditions now? Is that what you're thinking about?
Yeah.
What do you think about when you're dead?
But I can pause when I tap. So as of right now, basically, the moment I press tap every time, it's identify, okay, which objectives are up. So there's a certain concept which you can focus, is like, especially in early game, which is the who and when question. So what you can ask yourself is like, okay, who do you want to play for? Not my Jinx, that guy is not looking too hot. I can definitely play with my Renekton, and I can play with my Sign, but ideally with my Renekton, because he'll be mid lane, right? So I'm gonna play with my Renekton, okay? I've identified that. So I as well know that I need to take all my camps. So here's the next question, which is when. So gameplay. So as you can see, I need to take my camps, which means that the upcoming wave that's coming from base, I will not be able to utilize. So this wave right there, I will probably not utilize because I won't take my camps. Unless I'm skipping all my camps and doing the Herald. I don't remember what I did. But let's say I want to do full clear, okay? This wave that's right there, if enemy jungle is not showing, what I usually do is I ping all my laners to be careful. I look at how their waves are, and I'm making sure they're playing safe. In this case, I'm playing on that wave, so it's okay to play aggressive. Oh, I remember. I was going for Herald straight because they might have been flipping it. That was the main reason.
Yeah, but that's a good principle there as well. You're thinking about which waves you're going to be aggressive on, right? So, and you're trying to, and you're timing that perfectly with like how many camps you can do in between that. Is that sort of the thought process?
Yeah. So like really simplified League is that if every lane is winning, how can you lose the game? You can only lose the game by either your laners are breaking the arms in laning phase and dying 1v1, or they disconnect, or they're dying by the enemy jungler while I'm farming, right? Like if you actually just break down League super simply. So if every lane's winning, how can you lose the game? Only if they get ganked by jungler while I'm farming. The moment I finish all my camps and then gank mid lane, and let's say I'm playing around mid, and Maokai is there, it's a double kill. So knowing that let's say I want to play with mid lane, this all means that I'm paying really close attention to my side laners. Because if I want to play mid lane into bot lane and my bot lane dies, well, that sucks, right? So if you answer the like, who you want to play for and when, and you ping your laners accordingly when it's play aggressive and safe, usually that's going to get you really far already, if you can identify that from base. They get fisted. So this is like a concept as well. Okay, wait, there's actually a fight going on here, I guess, so... But do you see how many spears are flying, but I still have like 13 frags?
Yep, and again, that's just from decision making. You say just overall, just being at the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, now you're hitting spears, Kirei. What are you talking about there? You're,
now I'm hitting spears, yeah.
The hands are warm.
Yeah, it's been warmed up.
So another narrative that people will have as well, Kirei, people will be saying, okay, you know, this guy's playing Nidalee. He has, I mean, you obviously have 16 frags, as you said here, but you have 42 CS. A lot of people like to talk about the CS number. You know, like those apps that people have, you see with a coach, and it has like how much CS they have per minute, and it will say if it's bad or good. How do you think about farm in League of Legends here? Like, are you worried that you have 42 CS in this game?
Not at all. So basically, one kill is basically 3 camps in terms of gold, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe one kill is equivalent to
Yeah.
3 camps, and that probably means as well that they're gonna lose a wave. That probably means they're gonna lose gold and they're gonna lose XP. So as a jungler, it's super important to identify is that this question I get asked a lot is like, when should I farm? When should I gank? And
Yeah,
here's the
where's my
thing.
gank? Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
It's the most common question.
I'll be in SS so often. So here's the secret, okay? So basically, there's a lot of league junglers. So there's like Kha'Zix, Evelynn, Fiddlesticks, Nidalee. Each champion depends on what the champion identity is. Let's say a champion like Cards, okay? I would say that you can full clear on this champion, yes. However, laners will always present opportunities for you to kill them. It's just that the percentage decreases depending on which champion you play. So let's say you play Cards, okay, and someone's trolling. Like, of course, if he's trolling, go kill him. But the opportunities are less because your kit of the champion is just not as good as a Rek'Sai, right? So every time you see a free kill, why would you not go for it? It's really valuable. However, of course, it should be within your win condition, and enemies shouldn't be able to get a kill on the other side that is like, let's say, your win condition. It still needs to be like a reasonable kill within your win condition, because you can always farm. Can you always get a kill? No, that's not a thing. It's like an opportunity always. Every game's an opportunity. There will be opportunities coming, whether you're ahead or behind. There's always opportunities. So if it's an opportunity to kill, you should kill them. So the biggest tip I have for you guys is that, let's say I want to play around bot, okay? The most important thing is to try to always take the opposite side where you want to play towards to, your camps. So let's say I want to play bot, I'm making sure that I clear my top side camps, because let's say I took my Gonus red buff Raptors, and bot lane's, let's say, complete fiesta. I can skip all my bot side camps and run straight bot lane, and the moment I kill them, I can go to back to my bot side camps, right? And enemy jungle should not be able to counter jungle. However, if I, let's say, took my bot side camps and I go straight bot, I will lose my entire top side camps, which is gonna make me fall behind or make it a bit more even because he managed to take my top side camps. But as long as he can't counter jungle you, ganking and getting a kill is always worth it. But it just depends on which champion you're playing and the identity. And like I said, it just depends what you're playing. Let's say you're playing Evelynn, the chance of you getting kills is lower than a Rek'Sai or Jarvan, and that makes sense, right? So you need to understand the champ identity.
Alright, so we're skipping all camps to do Dragon here. So a lot of people will ask, is this, do I prioritize Dragons and Heralds over camps, Kirei?
In this case, because I happen to be literally around the Drake and I have a lot of gold, I'm very likely going to be basing instantly after the Drake. So the question you might be asking is like, when do I want to take Drake and when do I actually want to base or when do I want to farm? So can go a bit back. So here's the thing, I literally killed them. So I know right now that we got 3 kills, and basically my Jinx and Renekton are gonna push the wave and I'm gonna look for a base, right? So knowing that we're gonna play the map even, which means that everyone's gonna be looking for a base after objective, we'll all be coming back from base fresh with items, and then I can take my camps and I can play with the Herald after. So here's the thing with Herald. So I'll take the Drake for sure, right? So after I take this Drake, I'm not gonna go straight to Herald. You might wonder why. The main reason why is because if I go Herald instantly, I literally haven't farmed for the past 1.5 minute. Because taking Herald takes like, I don't know, 30 to 40 seconds. It takes a while, and as a jungler, especially Nidalee, especially if you're winning, ideally, it's better to take your camps first and then go for the objective. Because then, all my camps are respawning, and what happens then is, let's say, enemy decides to fight us, okay, and the game's more close. If I run from base straight to the Herald and we lose the fight, my camps wouldn't be respawning, and it will be really bad. And that puts a jungler behind, which is not recycling your camps. So right here, I'm very likely going to be basing because I do not want to give the Herald. I think that I'm basing here, buying my items, and I'm running straight to the Herald. So if I don't do this, that means that I'm aware that I will not be able to make in time for Herald, and I decide to give it and play after that. But I think I'm not giving it. I'm just like sprinting instantly because I think I can contest it. But as I looked, it actually got one shot already, and my Renekton didn't base. So I should have just take my camps and base and give the Herald.
Yeah.
And then, okay, sure, they get Herald, but they can never use it because I'm ahead. But now I kind of trolled actually, which I didn't even notice, by thinking I could still contest it, but my laner's conditions were bad, and I have a lot of gold. I mean, the gold doesn't matter. Like, I'm sure we still win it, but not when my lanes are low and they already one-shot it.
Also, Renekton had no ults as well when he was low, but maybe you're so strong here that, I mean, you don't have some items and stuff, so... So you're saying that you actually think this is a mistake, you should have just cleared all your bot camps and just let them get the Herald here.
Yes, because I actually didn't see that they were that fast back on the map, and that was like all me basically. So basically I didn't recognize the tempo state. So one thing that's important is can go back. So you can actually track this every single time, the moment I took the Drake. This is something I do, but I didn't do it here, I guess. So yeah, go more back. Like more back before I start Drake. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So in League of Legends, it's all about attack and defend, right? So right now we just killed them. So it's like 1-0 basically, okay? So do you see like the Lucian spawn timer? It's like 60 seconds. And when did they kill the enemy mid laner? Can you go more back as well?
The enemy mid laner would have died.
Okay, okay, right now. Okay, can I pause? So basically right now, if you look at the map set, okay, enemy mid lane spawns in 2 seconds, enemy AD carry spawn 90 seconds. So I know the mid laner is going to take one more mid lane wave, which means that enemy mid laner is going to be faster on the map, and they'll be able to start a Herald while my mid laner is in base. Because he simply needs to push the wave, then base. Like, enemy mid lane has at least 15 seconds tempo, at least, right? So knowing that information after killing them, it's really important to identify, okay, after I killed them, after I take my camps, or after I take a Drake, who is first on the map? So can I play?
Is there another way to think about? I like to use the analogy chess turns. What do you think about that, Kirei? Where, okay, I'm gonna make my move on the dragon here, and my lane is gonna push these waves, and then they're gonna have a chess move, and then I have to think about what their move is gonna be.
Yeah. And you can measure it usually by respawn timers, because look, it's 2-6, right? And enemy mid lane just respawned, and pay attention to my mid laner. It's 2-6, and he still hasn't based yet. And he's even hitting the tower. Oh my goodness, I didn't see that.
God.
Illegal. Okay, I didn't see that in game, by the way. So okay, he even went for a plating, and I didn't see that. Okay, so here's the thing: after you get a kill, you can look at death timer and know the enemy's faster. So right now, for some reason, I didn't see it. I don't know how, but anyway, I should already known. Okay, the Herald's no matter what gone. Like no matter what, like I should just take my camps base and suck it up. So you can like kind of pay attention to like death timers and see what your lanes are doing, and knowing that they have like one turn to attack you, and if you just negate that turn and make it neutral, you can start playing the game again. But this is the point where a lot of people make mistakes, is that you get something, they get something. You get something, they get something. And even I make this mistake, as you can see. So the better you can recognize it, the easier the games will be. And right here, it's like just super important to know what you're playing for. I know that after I take these camps, I'm gonna base and I'll identify the next objective. And especially with this amount of gold, you don't want to be looking for plays. I hope that I just take my camps and base and play to defend. Because here's the thing where a lot of people get tempted, is that they see top lane and they see he's playing aggressive and they're looking for it. Like right now, I'm not sure I'm looking. I guess I think I can kill him, but this is just bad. Like I'm not following my own advice. No. Okay. Like when I watch replay, I can identify it, right? But like,
that's so funny.
Oh my god, man, Jesus, that's so boosted.
You literally, it's so funny how you literally describing exactly what people
no.
doing.
Okay, you guys are for sure doing this well. So here's the thing: I had so much gold, okay, and this is not a guaranteed play. If it was a guaranteed play, okay, sure, but this guy's ult E flash, I don't know, like probably triple flash, right? And I can't kill him, so I show him in position, which means that on mid and bot they can play aggressive, and that's just super bad. So there, I really had to base. And then play on the map again, and then okay, who's attacking, who's defending, you know? So can go back, because I think this is very important. Because how you can recognize it, right, is that before I based. Like even before, but after I took the golems.
Okay, got it. So just wait before this bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So right here, based, right. Basically, what you always want to think is, okay, what are you playing for next? Because if you're not thinking about what you're playing for next, that means that you won't have a game plan. So as of right now, I can tell you that I don't have a game plan. I didn't press tab. I didn't actually just look at, okay, which lanes, like who do I want to play for, and when do I want to play for them. I didn't follow those two questions. Like, the things are at the moment, honestly, I even said before, I don't want to play for the Sion. I definitely want to play my Renekton, and I'm playing for the wrong guy. So if I knew...
It's so easy to get distracted in League of Legends. It's like you see like a kill, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go kill. I'm really fed, right? Like so many players have this problem. We all fall for this. Even I mean, obviously, you obviously with your experience, even you can get tricked by this really easily. And as you said, it's because you're not thinking about big picture about the win condition and tempo, and yeah, potentially showing here what am I gonna lose for this?
Yeah. So basically, what I should have done is like identify, okay, like which item can I buy? I'm pretty sure I can buy a rocket belt and some other nice stuff with this amount of money, and then just identify who I want to play for. My Renekton, when probably the next wave is coming, and then ping my lanes to play safe, and done. The game would be like so much faster.
And this would be really perfect as well because you'll be syncing your recall with the Renekton and coming on the map together as well, right? So it's just like a win-win scenario. Again, playing around the win condition that you identified, was it 10 minutes ago talking about, Renekton is the person you want to play around.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So I got really run down here. But that's how I can recognize it.
It's really interesting the way you're really like upset about this play. Like a lot of people will be like, oh, well, like, Kirei didn't die. He's still really fed, like, he's playing really well here. But you're so hard on yourself. You're like, you just realize that you slowed down the game so much, which I think is a really important thing of the way League of Legends works. What do you think?
No, it is. Like, I think as a jungler, every second that you can be faster, there it might be a kill. Because think about it, there's 3 lanes. 3 lanes that play like monkeys. I can't imagine what people are going through in, like, Master, Platinum, like, Diamond, Master Elo. But I can tell you that people are a complete monkey. And the faster you are, the more opportunities there are, and the more opportunities you take and kill, the more you're gonna win games. So I highly recommend practice like custom game, how to clear, and just like when to base and all this stuff, and that's gonna help you like so much. Like imagine I came here like, I don't know, 5 seconds later, they might have left already. 3 kills gone. So as I get the kill, right, I always think, okay, what am I playing for next? So right now, I'm pretty sure that I am looking to play for the bot / mid tower. I mean, I think top lane might be gone, but we're gonna get a lot of platings here, so I'll be okay with that, right? That's probably what I'm thinking at the moment, and because I know what I'm playing for, I know when I'm playing for them as well. So here's the important part where after you get a kill, right, just think, okay, what am I playing again for next? It should be an autopilot thing. After you get a kill, after you die, after you take an objective, what am I playing for next? The moment you know what you play for next, you can look at your gold. Oh, I have a lot of gold. Drake's coming up in 1 minute. I might have the base. And that just simplifies the game a lot. Just by knowing what you can play for next. Then you look what you buy, and then you think, okay, who do I play for, and when do you play for that? If you ask yourself this question every single time you get something, the game will become a lot easier.
So yep, you're playing for the mid and the bot tower, as you said. That's what you did. You got to take all these bot camps, and you're happy with this trade.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I got top, mid, some kills, and but here's the thing. Right now, I know that we're down tempo, because we're getting chased. Which means, because we got a lot, right? You can't get everything and not lose anything. Sometimes you should be fine giving a tower if you took, like, 2 towers and 2 kills. Like, it's okay to give bot tower, you know? But it's important to recognize, okay, we are now really behind the tempo, and we might have to give something. And this is where a lot of people struggle with it, like, no, just get 5 kills and get 5 more kills, and then base. But that's not how it works, exactly. Like, now, look, my Jinx is pinging on the way to defend the tower, right? But I should have just pinged him here, back, because we took so much gold, we have so much gold, and yes, we're probably 13 kills up or something, but the thing is that we took so much and we just had to give the tower. It's solo anyway, it doesn't give much value, and we should have just left here.
Yeah, so you're saying here that, again, I guess the chess turn analogy, your chess move was to take these towers, and then now theirs should be to take this tower, but you're sort of like trying to defend their chess move or something like that.
Yes, and this is bad. I don't know why I even listened to this.
You can tell the way you're playing as well, you're very hesitant here, aren't you, Kirei? You're like, no, this is a bad play.
I mean, yeah, but this is well all me, though, because I think I could prevent this, because can go back. I think I pinged back, but I didn't spam enough, because here's the thing, like, League is, of course, you can't control everything, but here's the thing. Okay, did I ping them back? Can I go back?
I think you're just doing on the way.
Okay, so here's the thing. I did ping on the way. So based on watching the replay, I'm like, why the fuck are we actually staying here? Because if I watch the replay, of course, it looks really obvious. But as I played the game, I probably wasn't aware that, okay, we took so much, and it's probably now their turn. But I could recognize that we had the base there. So let's say I want to work on myself. Okay, let's say this is a habit of mine that I constantly fail. So you might be wondering, how do I know when to give something, right? So if you go back more previously, but before we took the bot lane tower. Yeah, so right here, I already know that after takes tower, this should be easy to recognize, which is that we took a tower, enemies faster on the map, which means that they will basically be able to make a move on this, right? So I did ping him here like back, because, well, we should really have to start running and they're all coming. So as you take a tower and you back off, and you have like a lot of gold, and you know that as well they have mid pressure, because as you can see, even when Renekton's basing, they can push the first mid lane wave into bot lane. Like right here, I saw my Jinx base, so I was like, oh, that's nice. So I actually thought he was gonna back, because honestly, I actually didn't even see this either. My Jinx channel base twice, and he didn't base. So I was like, okay, he's giving.
It looks like a gready base. She got
So
cancelled.
what I did here is that I instantly followed his defend ping, whereas basically here I didn't adapt properly. Here, the moment I saw him cancel his base, I still have to ping him care. But in game, I probably thought, okay, we can defend this. That's what I probably thought, and then we base. But that's just a misjudgment as well. Because I don't think we could defend, honestly. They just dive as 3v3. That's how crazy it is, even though we're so far ahead, but we have so much gold to spend.
I guess that's just demonstrating the power of tempo in League of Legends. Doesn't matter how far behind you have, if you have resources and the enemy's low, you can always win fights still.
No, definitely, and honestly, like the tempo videos that I have, like it helped people to climb to Challenger, because that's just how important it is. Like it's not like anything crazy, you know, like that's like whoa, you know, it's just understanding when enemy has items, when you're healthy, and then when you can fight and when you can't. Actually, I'm telling you this, Emilio, I've been throwing spears to Uganda. So here again, right, like I was looking at death timers. So can I pause? So basically here we killed them, Drake's coming up, I have a lot of gold, I'm very low, so the first thing I have to do is spend my gold, match the Maokai tempo, and then be as strong as possible for this Drake fight. So here I'm probably going to be basing and just play for the objective. And I've identified that. So I identified what I'm playing for, and basically, why am I not basing? Oh, I'm getting chased by Lucian. Maybe, that's why. The hero's getting a bit cocky, I think. Look at me, I'm like, hello. That is not good.
So I guess now you're no longer matching the Maokai tempo now with your death timer.
I mean, now I'm not anymore, yeah, but as long as you get the theory, it's like, is it good enough, you know?
No, it's great. I think we're definitely seeing a trend here of just like the value of tempo, and you know, it's funny how we're sort of seeing these mistakes, but you're really emphasizing the theory around this, because you're aware of how much you're losing. I mean, you could be losing Drake for this now at this point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you're the strongest person on your team. So yeah, I think this is really good lessons in terms of like. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even really say this is high elo. Like, I mean, this is just League of Legends. You know, like you'll be able to win plenty of games in lower elos as well, just from good decisions to reset and thinking about tempo, thinking about where the enemy team's death timers. You really focus on their death timers, the decision making that you talked about.
Yeah, and one thing that's super important is that remove distractions as you're playing League, because I think that some of the people that probably gonna watch this video are gonna be like, "Oh, I like to alt tap and I'm dead." But here's the thing: the moment you're dead, your laners are gonna die as well the next minute or like the next few seconds, because the moment you're not taking care of your laners, not being into play safe when you're dead, that's gonna be so tilting. Because especially when you die, right? The enemy laners know that you're dead, and they're gonna play as monkey as possible while their jungler is alive, especially during your dead time and while you're farming. So it's, once again, the how and when. So when are you gonna be playing for them? I can tell you, because you died, it's gonna take 1 minute, and that 1 minute you have to make sure that your laners are not playing too aggressive, and that's super important. And this thing that I'm saying is not even like league. I mean, it is league related, but it's just outside league, right? But those things actually will help you more than you think. Even looking at the phone, even I do sometimes, right? I have my phone next to me and I see a message, I'm like, oh, what is this? Then I lose focus for like 2-3 seconds. Just put your phone somewhere far away, make sure there's no distractions. It really is super important.
Great advice. All right, so what are you thinking about this whole situation here, Kirei? What's your? You said that you want to be playing for something. Like, what's next here? Are we just fighting because we're stronger, or like you're looking to get the Herald here? What's the go here?
Here we're definitely looking to play for the Herald, so ideally, right, here we're fighting, so we think we can get something. But as there's nothing to get right here, we should just move into the... Okay, so here's the thing, before we go Herald, we should be looking to take one more mid lane wave, because if we don't take the mid lane wave, they're going to take our mid tower. So that's one. Before we go for an objective, always try to take the wave together and move into Herald. So
you want to get this next mid wave that's coming mid here.
Yeah, but like this is a long scrap, right? So... But after this scrap, basically, after this very long scrap, it's probably the next wave we're going to take. So you remember before the game where I said on Nidalee it's super important to be able to play in your vision, where enemy team doesn't see anything. That you just push a wave, go in fog, and they don't see anything. Like even right here, someone's pinging like Herald, Herald, like back, you know, but I don't know what's going on. These things will happen, always. Like, even though you want to do something, yes, you just have to adapt. Like here, honestly, we can just take the wave and peace out. And before the Renekton went in, I really could have pinged him back, just take the wave and move into Herald. But now we're low-key have to stay around mid lane because it's a wave, otherwise you take the tower, but can pause. So imagine we took the wave, went in the top side, and then swept the wall river, okay? What would happen is that they don't have any vision wards, and I throw spears while they don't see anything. And they're probably stacked as well, trying to walk in. And especially if you play Nidalee, this is how you have to play, because very often people are like, oh, my team is trolling and it's hard. But yes, that is true. However, you can create an advantage by playing like what I just mentioned. We just push the wave, go in your vision. I don't know, your Renekton Ashe can start a Herald and you just spam your Q on them while they don't see anything. And I guarantee you that the moment they get hit once, they'll be like, okay, we can't contest. But in lower elo, they'll be like, we're gonna send it, and they're gonna keep getting hit and they're just gonna die. So this is like decision making that's super important, and even I didn't do that. And it's good that I'm watching this game because I know the theory, but I'm not applying it consistently always. I'm doing maybe like 70 to 80, but I can get it to 90. Whereas, let's say you guys have like at 0, but you can increase the skill as you practice it more. And it's so important.
And I guess this is a really important thing as well, because you mentioned at the beginning of this video about your champ identity. We talked about the champ identity with Nidalee, and you said, I like to control river, make sure they have no vision, start an objective, they walk in and throw spears. So that's just, again, something that, like, I guess, you know, it's just, again, demonstrating how easy it is to get distracted in solo queue. But you did talk about adapting the Kirei. I think it's always important to adapt with your teammates, especially, you know, if they're fighting all the time, especially when you're this strong. But yeah, as long as you sort of know, I guess, that's what your champion strengths are that we should be doing. I guess when you review your games, you'll be like, did I do that? Did I not do it? It's pretty easy to review your games then at that point.
So the key thing is that after fight, always start to think, what am I playing for? So currently I'm just having some fun, you know, like throwing some spears, fighting, right? But if, let's say, in competitive game, okay, I can guarantee you that these things don't happen. We are probably going to be pushing the wave, going for the objective, and play to get an advantage, to create an edge. Like in SoloQ, of course, you go a bit more loose than usual, but I still do think about those things, but a bit less than how I usually would do it. But it's still there. And especially if you can take the enemy camps here, by the way, if you're ahead, I always like to take the enemy camps.
Oh, your Rocket Bell does so much damage. Your Rocket Bell procs Dark Harvest as well, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. This is a complete shit show, like.
I think we've been scrapping for the last 2 minutes.
There's like 47 kills in 90 minutes, so.
There's like 3 kills a minute almost.
Yeah. So right here again, so the fight's over. I'm again thinking, what am I playing for? Well, Baron is up, so we're definitely playing for top side. So I don't want to play for top side. So when you see that wave that's there on mid lane, definitely not that wave, as I still need the base. So let's say when Renekton is walking up too far, I would ping him back. And as a jungler, it's your job to identify this, because laners are just not thinking about when they should and when they shouldn't fight. I mean, my team is just permanently sending it here, you know, like, my plan was probably to base, but then I see my Sign press ultimate, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna join, but, yeah, you know.
So I think it's really important as well to just to demonstrate the mindset with Nidalee here. So even though you're 14-2 here, look at the way you're playing here. Like, do you want to sort of walk through here? You're just sitting back throwing spears. You're not looking to W in here. Is this really important as Nidalee? In full AP Nidalee?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important that if you play Nidalee, you just like, ideally, you don't even want to show yourself. You just want to throw it from fog, because if they see you, you know, like, honestly, it's like, they will be able to dodge it, right? So what I like to do in general is like, just throw from fog, because you see here, I'm throwing like a max range spear, seeing how they move, and as you can see, I hit a full max range spear on the enemy mid laner, knowing he's going to walk forward, and that's... But if imagine I'm showing, right? He would never, like, get hit by that, I feel like. He even still wind wall.
So that's a good rule of thumb you have for Nidalee, is that always be looking to throw spears out of vision to make sure that it's harder for the enemy team to dodge.
Yeah, I mean, not like always, right? It depends per fight, but in that fight specifically, yes. It's pretty situational. So here's the thing with Nidalee as well, like, I try to always heal your AD carry, so I think I healed my Renekton like once. Even though it's like a bit lower, don't heal the Renekton, so always heal if you do Baron the AD carry, because he gets more attack speed from it, and AD carry gets the most value from the attack speed. And also this Renekton is going to base anyway, so that healing of him is not going to matter. What matters is how fast you do Baron.
Yeah, so this is why you said you love playing with hyper carries, because you get to E them and
Yes.
stuff like that for the Baron. And you're looking to E them in fights as well, or?
Yes,
like
in fights as well. In fights as well, I actually look to eat them. Like if they get a little bit chunked, I actually just eat them. Because I'm telling you, it's over like 60% attack speed. I believe the dagger costs like 300 gold, and it gives you like 9% attack speed. So it's like so much gold value. It's like at least over 1.4k gold value. That amount
Just
of attack
from
speed.
one person.
Yeah. So that's like really crazy, especially in hyper carry.
Okay, so you got Baron here. What are you thinking about Baron? I think this is your third dragon as well. You don't care about this dragon here? What's your mindset here? You just want to take the camps?
So here's the thing. The general rule of thumb that I usually have is that if we have Baron, I usually like to siege first before taking Baron. The reason why is because you can always take the Drake after you siege, but you can't always use every single wave. So, especially the high competitive play, usually what teams do is that if you want to snowball fast, I mean, if you want to do it safe, you can take the Drake instantly. However, I personally am of the opinion that you should just use the wave first, take all the inhibitors if you can, because I believe for our champs we can take inhibitors, and then take the Drake after. So it's to play faster on the map, basically.
So again, so you're ignoring the dragon here because you want to get inhibitors and utilize the Baron. That's the thought process here.
Yeah, so imagine I actually was in mid lane here, okay? Basically, I would not be able to use this wave. And I would be doing the Drake, but I would be using the next mid lane wave instead. But here we chase the Emilio. But in general, if you're Baron, you want to play with two lanes. I think here I got caught. I'm not sure how Maokai got behind me. So this is pretty bad.
Where did he come from?
Yeah, I have no idea, honestly. But yeah, basically, if you're Baron, you really want to be utilizing two lanes and just siege. Look at my reaction. Yeah.
You look very upset by that.
Yeah, I'm pretty passionate when playing, I would say.
Oh no, now we lose the third dragon.
Okay, so here's the funny thing, okay? Go back.
Yep.
Like, I'm not following my own advice. I said when you're dead, you should really be focused and not be, I don't know, tilt or whatever. So, as I'm dead here, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really obvious that I'm dead here, okay? And I could tell clearly that my team has to run away and they have to go to Tribush. You see me Renekton pathing? That's completely illegal. What is he doing here? He should just move to Tribush and get the fuck away. So instead of me paying attention to that, right? I should just like fuming, and then he died as well. But this was easily recognizable. And I could have just pinged him, no, please don't do this. So like, even I have this issue where I just sometimes space out a bit and I get stunned in real life and my laners will die.
So you really like pinging people when you're dead. You were trying to communicate with your team when you're dead. That's like you think that's like your responsibility.
Yeah, it's super important because laners are, yeah, they're just gonna die, you know. So you just really have to pay attention to that. And as of right here, and especially for that, just have to recognize it once again the map state, because journaling, of course, is like you take your camps, you gank, how to execute them, but a big part of it as well is just basic fundamentals. Do you want to fight, or do you not want to fight? Do you want to trade or not? In low elo, you'll see everyone fighting, but that is not the right play. Like, I choose my fights wisely. and I play with man advantage, which will increase my chance of winning. And if you understand those small things, it'll be a lot easier to see the results in your LP as well. So right here, for example, I think my Sion is probably teleport, and ideally here, we can just move to bot lane, Sion cover top lane. Let's see what they're doing. Like, okay, we're shooting some arrows, I guess, and shooting some ultimates. But this is like what will happen in like a lot of elos, right? People are just gonna fight. But the most important thing is having an idea at least, so you don't follow everything.
So there is pings going down on the bot tower here, so maybe this is what you think as the next objective?
Yeah, I definitely don't play for bot tower. Someone's just spam pinging that shit. Okay, so as you take a tower, right, like, it's the same thing, because can pause. Once you take something, it's so important to recognize what are you playing for next again. So let's say Baron spawns 1 minute. You don't even want to be hitting this tower. So remember what I said before the game, it's important immediately to make sure you're first on objective, make sure they walk in without any vision, and then start throwing some spears. So let's say Baron is up in 1 minute now. Even if I take this tower, that's not important, because we can't end the game anyway. How you end the game is with the next Baron, so you have to always think ahead. What are you playing for next? What are you playing for next? And once you know what to play for next, you have to as well know how to play for it. And then when. In mid game, it's like, what do you play for and how do you play for it and when? In early game, it's just like who and when.
Got it. So the how you're gonna play for it, you think that's a lot got to do with mid wave in terms of what to play for. Was that a huge thing with how in the mid game?
In mid game, especially play on Baron, is like that's like how, yes, and that's a lot more complicated. So usually it's just you take a mid lane wave, you take vision, you take top lane wave, and you just sit in your vision basically. That's the how. But of course, there's like multiple ways to do it. So I'm not sure when Baron is, but like me oinking here, honestly, even 2 minutes, I should already be basing it. It's like, you really use this for me to be here. We should already base like a wave earlier there. Because now what happens is that they can push mid lane, and they can get the control. Imagine we based earlier and are sitting in our top side here. That would allow us to basically have full control and make it really difficult for them to enter the top side.
Yeah.
Because by
again,
then,
highlighting the importance of tempo. Your team, everyone's bases are staggered. Like Ash is basing now, so that they're going to get free control of top river.
So here's the thing as well.
They didn't get control. They didn't get any control. Looks like they didn't clear these wards.
Yeah, but this is really bad because can go back. So imagine this Yasuo went to our top lane here, okay, with their team, and let's say we didn't have so many pink wards. What would happen is if we fuck up our tempo, this guy takes the mid lane wave, moves in the top lane. My Renekton can then not push the next upcoming top wave because one of us has to catch the mid lane wave, right? So what happens is that they have full control top side. Then again, they're gonna push top lane wave, and we have to catch the top lane. And now it's us gonna have no control, and now it becomes hard to play the game.
And that's usually when people get caught, right?
Yes, this is the moment where people are gonna int, including me, okay? So, so I'm just saying, like, by just us basing earlier and going faster on the top side, all of this is prevented. And of course, if this happens though, how to counter is just go ARAM. And as you can see, this little weasel is getting spanked. So as you can see, I'm insecure as usual, just throwing some alt attacks. Just seeing just seeing how he moves, you know. He's doing the left right movement. So right there I got a kill, right? So once again I think for what I'm playing for next. I'm playing for Baron in 20 seconds. I know my Science coming in 15 seconds and he should just cover mid lane. I could base here. But the thing is that by me pushing top lane here, I will allow them... I basically force them to go to top side here as well, which makes us get man advantage, so we can have mid control. So this is the how part. Okay, how do I start playing for Baron here? Okay, so what I think here is that I'm gonna look to give the mid and bot tower to get pressure on the top side, and then ARAM, and we get full control here.
So that forces them to react to top. So that's another part of the house. This is setting up the Baron. You're pushing top.
Yes, so they have to go top, which means that we get man advantage on the mid lane, and then yeah, and a smurf in addition. So here, but I'm fairly certain they have no vision here, right? So even though I have a lot of gold here, this is the thing. I have a lot of gold and I could base here, okay? But I know that enemy doesn't have wards. So, okay, pause. So, me knowing that enemy team have no wards here, I'm thinking from their perspective, what do they see? Nothing. Like, this probably looks like really stupid, right? Just walks in and dies. But I know they have no wards, so with me, even though I have a lot of gold, I have Rabadon, I know that I can stay, and if they try to come in, I throw one spear, they can't fight anymore. So this is why it's so important to be first and have the setup, because this is the power of setup. People are gonna run it down. And the moment one person dies, well, you can do Baron.
Yeah, everyone would base there. You're right, Kirei.
Yeah.
Everyone would be basing there,
Like
but again,
98% would base there and not understand that you have full control. So you see what I'm doing to Maokai? I'm just slowly poke him down. I'm not committing because I know his team is coming. Like, I'm making it as hard as possible for them to take any control. And if they have no control and they get a spear in their face with, like, you know, that does 1k damage. But you see right now as well, the enemy team is like, they have no wards. They don't know what's popping, you know? So here's the attack and defend. Like, I know Drake is gone here, so as you can see, I'm picking care of Drake.
So lots of communication. You're saying, I'm going to give Dragon and I'm going to use these waves.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Once again, I'm like forcing them to be... I have a lot of gold here, right? But I'm forcing them to be on top lane. So because I force them on top lane, I basically get man advantage on mid lane, so we can take full control. So basically...
I guess again, it's sort of like chess. So like you're going to push that, they're going to have to react, and then that's going to give you pressure of that side of the map, or like so specifically mid here, which is going to give you more control of the map in general.
Yeah. So basically, I took the Baron, and then we basically complete the Baron already, and they used the turn for the Drake. So I used my turn for the top wave. And now it becomes even, you see? Now we're all ARAMing, and now Yonsho top lane, and now we're 5 men. So because we're 5 men, we can now send it on the mid lane. And most... You see Yon's mid lane, but most top lane players would go for one more top lane wave there. And then here, yeah, slightly unfortunate. And here we lost the game.
What a way to lose a game. 19-4.
Yeah, but...
So, is it just Maokai ult? Like, we're just not... so I guess you thought you could get a spear here and then win wall and then...
I mean, here's the thing. I was actually trying to save my AD carry, but this guy's completely useless. So like here I could W away, right? But I was thinking he's gonna get hit, so I tanked it. But I shouldn't have. But even this is preventable because can go back. So here's the thing, if you're Baron, okay? And the thing is that, okay, I know that if you're Baron, you play on a wave, and if they contest it, you go on them. But you don't send it on them. You just like kind of play in the wave, you kind of play slow, but your Renekton's far away, and look, right now we're just playing a 5v5. Chasing really far. Ashe is in Africa, Renekton's in Africa, and we're sending it here. And my Jing is getting called here. So this is the worst possible fight, right? But if you're Baron, what you want to be doing is just have a wave ideally. So the wave is gone. So we want to just wait for the next wave. And as there's a wave of Baron, and if let's say we're 5v5, it should be impossible to lose. But it was just like a bad fight. So here I just...
And you weren't playing with a wave or anything like that, and your team was,
Yeah.
I guess your Asher is baiting everyone. Really, that's what's happening there.
Yeah, but here, even though the team is baiting me, I could have pinged them like, hey, just don't fight there, and that was just like a shit fight.
Yeah.
Like, the moment people pinged on the way there, I was like, bro, this is not it, you know, and then I just followed. And that's something I could work on, so even though I was like playing well, there are still a lot of things I could have done better, and those small things would have made me win the game. So it's like really important to focus on yourself and see what you could do better, and instead of like others, because a lot of people there would be like, oh, why the fuck is he engaging? Yes, he's inting. However, I could prevent it by just being a no. But you actually need to have a game knowledge as well in order to do so. And if you want to increase the game knowledge, you need to be self-conscious and think about having an open mind, because not everyone can be right, you know, and it's important to keep learning and be humble about it. So even
Well,
though I
that
played a
brings
game,
us to the end of the game here, Kirei. Again, I think win or loss, I think there's really good learnings from this one about, tempo. And I guess the key thing, really I want people to take away from this. I mean, we sort of try to make this about the champion and stuff like that, but you're reading the map. Like, I mean, you're constantly just reading, like, it's like a language, that you're constantly thinking about what's next. I mean, is this jungle, like, specifically for the role? Do you think this is more so just every role should be doing this? Because you talk about your laners dying all the time, and you're playing with the best, laners in Europe right now, and look at the way they're playing this game, right? So, how do you think about, I guess improving the skill of how to read the map better?
I think it's honestly every role. You need to understand every single role, your draft win condition, the map state, how it is, the champion identities. All of these things is not jungle specific. The things that I just mentioned, you can do the same with Zeroth. If a Zeroth is on objective and misses a face check, well, guess what? If you're playing Ezreal, it's the same thing. So I would say that a lot of the things that I explained is just macro and decision making. And as you can see, honestly, I missed shit on the spears. Like, honestly, I missed spears that I shouldn't have missed, right? And I still was looking like a complete 1v9 Chinese player, right? But what made me look like it is just good decision making, taking the right fights, thinking about tempo, and even though I screwed it up sometimes, most of the time I did do it properly. So, yeah, it's just understanding macro basically, I would say. And the thing is that people that were Hearthstone and Diamond for years managed to get Challenger by just understanding these concepts and applying them in their own gameplay. And it's not like they improved on their champion; they just improved on how to play League of Legends basically the right way. It forced the enemy team to move to you, and if they don't, they will lose something. And that's the way how you're supposed to play League of Legends. It's like chess basically. At some point, enemy is checkmated. They have to face check when Baron is up, and we can one shot it. Well, you know what happened to Emilio in that bush? He got one shot.
And the number one advice from Kirei is don't look at your phone while you're playing a League of Legends game.
No, for sure. Like, don't be tilted. I mean, of course, it's very normal to be tilted, right? Even I'm like, fuck, and then I get disconnected for like a few seconds. But the best thing you can always try to identify is, okay, like, how do I not get triggered? So, let's say you know yourself really well and you get tilted after, I don't know, later dies. Like, just try to, like, refocus and take some deep breaths and just, okay, let's focus up, because these small things are going to win you more than just, like, honestly playing good, because you'll play good as you focus.
Alright, Kirei, well that brings us to the end of the video then. Very educational. I think this will help a lot of people in terms of thinking a bigger picture about the game, what high elo League of Legends Challenger jungling looks like, which is what this series is all about. How can people find you, Kirei? You mentioned you did some coaching, you stream on Twitch.
Yeah, I do stream on Twitch. Twitch, I mean, I can send later. Twitch TV Kirei OP.
I'll chuck the links in the YouTube. Yeah, I'll chuck it in the YouTube description.
Yeah.
Is that the best way to people to contact you? Just go through Twitch.
It's probably my Discord, like Kirei hashtag 1997, but it might be changed in the comment. But I think the best way to contact me is just, I guess, yeah, I don't know, Twitch or Discord, I guess, or Twitter. Like, there's like a lot of ways. There's like a Patreon as well where you can contact me. Actually, you can't unless you subscribe, I guess. I guess Twitter is the best.
All right, we'll chuck those links in there. Thanks for coming on, Kirei. Very helpful.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys in our next video.
Yeah, no problem. Hope you guys learned a lot, and adios, amigos. Yo.